Yeah, so I've got Miles here, Perry here, Travis, and Arsenal have just lost 2-1 in Croatia. Guys, what we saying? Miles, thoughts.
My initial thoughts are first half just didn't look interesting enough for me. I think Giroud kind of summed up Arsenal in the first half. Just I don't know, just a bit too relaxed. I thought didn't show him enough respect potentially there. Um, and I think once again it's happened time in time out. I think we've just underestimated our opponents,
I,
if I'm honest.
I feel like we did that thing where we had a lot of the ball early on, and we spent a lot of the time in their half. We had a lot of the ball, but there was no cutting edge. There was no.
I'm going to put it down to two distinctive errors. One is the performance of the team in general, like, was not at a quality sufficient enough to overcome an opponent, even if they're Dinamo Zagreb in a European fixture. That kind of performance, particularly in the first half, yeah, like, it's just not. It's not a good enough performance, just overall in general, to win. There was no character. Like we saw in the last 10 minutes, the character coming out of Arsenal, and there wasn't any of that.
Yeah.
And the second point is Arsene Wenger's selection was like dreadful, because this is a European fixture, man. Like you have to be able to give every team credit in once they get to this level, like, and whether it's just down to him wanting to rest players for Chelsea, well, then it comes down to being able to find adequate replacements in the transfer market, which he didn't do, as we all know. So the blame goes on two people, Arsene Wenger and overall team performance.
I see what you're trying to get at, but I definitely feel that team should have been good enough to get the 3 points anyway.
Did Arteta start in the middle?
Yeah, Arteta started in the middle.
Issue number one.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously Giroud starting up top. You should have options up front, man. Like you can't just be relying on Giroud, who might be out of form, who might be in form, who's your only proven striker. Like you're just asking for problems straight away.
I think it would have been nice to see Theo get another run out just to build a few games there, because I think at the moment you can clearly see Giroud's confidence is quite low.
Yeah,
he just seems to be tonight's performance. He was trying to an extent, but he was just moaning to the ref, and that's the reason why he got the first yellow, because he was just moaning.
To be fair, if I'm going to be fair to him, I wasn't happy about the free kick that he got. He went up for the header. He just innocently went up for the header, no arms, and the ref blew for a foul. So he was having a little bit of a moan because it wasn't a foul, and he got the booking.
Soft yellow, man.
Yeah, it was very
Europe,
soft.
innit? Like Europe, these things happen, man.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You need to be careful in Europe, because we know the referee likes to dish out cards quite easily in Europe. And I know it was a soft yellow to an extent, but you see it week in, week out where he's just moaning. It's just a case you just want to get hold of him and say, just get on with the job.
Get on with the game, yeah.
Rather than just moaning and just essentially just stropping about. But yeah, it would have been nice to see Theo perhaps get another game up top, just to try and get embedded in a bit, because obviously we're a bit light on options. So it would have been nice to see him get a run again.
Yeah, considering we're light on options, like, yeah, man, put Walcott in, let him have his opportunity. If you're not going to go out and sign someone, yeah, let Walcott have an opportunity up front. But you're not even doing that. Like, you're not even letting him have an opportunity up front. Coming off of a goal that he scored on the weekend, and then you've got Chelsea on the weekend, who we think, if he's starting Giroud today, that's indicating to me that he's starting Walcott.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not even going to let him have, like, get a bit of momentum before the game, man. Like,
I think going back to what Perry said about the Arteta and the lack of cover, it was just so frustrating. It was so frustrating, the fact that even Coquelin came on in the end. We can't even rest him. Because there's no cover. We've been putting Arteta defensive midfield for how many seasons has he been playing there now? He's out of position basically for years.
Since he's joined, we played him there.
Coquelin should have never been. He should have never came on today. It should never have been needed. Rio Ferdinand said, like, the lack of defensive players in Arsenal's midfield for the first goal led to a very, like, it was very reactive.
Hmm.
It was
But I
very
think
reactive rather than proactive in trying to stop the goal. It was very reactive. It should have been stopped further up the pitch, and it cost us for the first goal. And he was right. We've got Arteta and Cazorla, who are arguably two playmakers, in holding midfield, which is just ridiculous.
See, if you had cover for Coquelin now, in that position, adequate cover, you could bring in somebody who could take the pressure off of him for Coquelin for the weekend, and still adequate enough to do a job in Europe away from home, like
Exactly.
European night.
And there's many players in that position out there who've moved this summer. Schneiderlin being one of them, Kondogbia.
Again, like we assumed would happen in the summer, like the questions are starting to come to the forefront for Wenger, who looks frustrated. It's like he's frustrated at his own choices. There's no one else to blame for those kind of situations.
It's a bit frustrating considering Zagreb haven't won in a Champions League for is it 16 years? I think I heard. That's ridiculous.
That's their biggest win against an English club ever, I think.
Nope.
at the same time, though, I think once again I'm going to go back to that point where I think I heard a stat during the game. They've won 42 games unbeaten.
Yeah.
So I knew before the game, I know it sounds a bit like after time, I knew it'd be potentially a difficult game if we didn't take them seriously. Because obviously there's quite a lot of confidence. They haven't been beaten for a while, and it was going to be a tough nut to break down. And once again, I just think with Arsenal, the first 10 minutes of a game, you set that tempo for the rest of the game, and it just looked a bit too relaxed again.
Yeah.
We've done it time and time again this season, like that West Ham game, first game of the season when I was on the show here. I remember it was exactly a similar kind of start, just not taking it too seriously, and you can't afford to do that in these games. At the end of the day, every week it's a 6-pointer from now on in, because at the end of the day, in the league we're already 5 points off the leaders there. We're now, 3 points down. At this rate, we're probably going to finish second in the group.
Already. The damage has been done already, really.
And this is what I mean. This was a must-win tonight, I think. This was a must-win game.
I think Bayern are going to come out here and get the 3 points.
Potentially. I think when we play at our best, we can match them to an extent, but you're going to need a bit of luck when you're coming up against them.
See, I'm more worried about Arsenal in the smaller games like Zagreb than I am against Bayern at home. Like, I think the Bayern games, Arsenal will raise their game. It's the teams, they have this sort of mental lapse when they play teams who are supposedly smaller clubs. They just switch off, man. Like, it's like the attitude of the combined players in the team becomes like a lapse, and it becomes a bit slack, and it takes until we go either 1 or 2 goals down for anything to kick in. It's like you said, it's a reactive response rather than proactive response. But according to Arsene Wenger, there's no strikers left in Europe, so you can't buy anyone, and there's also
nothing could have strengthened this squad. Apparently, nothing.
Nah, there's nothing that could have helped. There's nothing. There's no players in the world that he could have gone out and improved the squad to be adequate in Europe tonight. So there's nothing we can say, man. Nothing we can do about it.
I don't even want to moan about him, but I wasn't happy with any of the officiating tonight. I thought it was very, very poor. I felt like the referee he just didn't have it. He just didn't like Giroud at all from the start. I even tweeted, I think it was long before Giroud got the second yellow, like he's not liking Giroud. But
linesmen were very tight with some of the decisions as well. I think there was a few that were pretty much dead on. And
do you see how good Coquelin looked when he came on?
He looked pretty solid, but I think that was also contributing to the game at the time. Obviously, I think Dynamo were then on the back foot.
True.
I think you can come on and impose yourself.
Nah, but I'm talking about compared to seeing Arteta on the ball. Coquelin came in and looked.
He's far more dynamic than Arteta. It's just his movement. I think with Arteta, his legs went in 2013. I think.
Arsene Wenger's made me dislike the captain of Arsenal purely because he plays him out of position. Like, I don't even want to dislike Arteta, but it genuinely makes me feel sick seeing him in our starting lineup, because he's never played where he's supposed to play, and it's even worse now because, like Miles said, his legs are gone.
Yes.
If you're a footballer and your legs have gone, yeah, it's a serious problem. Like you need to be like, like that's a boxer whose arms have gone, mate. Like that's a serious problem, man. You shouldn't be getting into the starting lineups like that. Anyway, what did you think about Ozil's performance?
I thought when we went down to 10 men, so most of the second half, he actually looked alright, to be
Yeah,
honest.
in that false nine position, he looked pretty.
Finding a lot of space,
Yeah.
not quite well. Funny enough, I thought he played alright. I just want to touch up quickly on that second goal. I just think once again we just looked so defensively naive at set pieces. Like, I don't know what Gibbs was doing. He just didn't even really attempt to go for the ball.
Mm,
I know that they were saying potentially Giroud, that was his kind of position.
that's his spot on that front post.
Gibbs as a defender, it was just atrocious. His attempt.
Everyone was just standing there looking like, who's
I
gonna
know,
do
it's just like Koscielny was the wrong side of his
Yeah.
arm, having to dash across, and we just get caught out. It just seems every season we really seem to. I'd like to try and get a stat. I'll try and bring it in maybe for the next video, but I don't know. It just seems like we concede a hell of a lot of goals from set pieces.
I
compared to
think-
top teams.
I think if Arsenal played their starting lineup, yeah, which I don't even think would probably even be a good idea considering we've got Chelsea in 3 days. But if we did
Yeah.
play our starting lineup, I don't think that result would have gone against us like that. We possibly could have got a draw or a win,
Yeah.
and also the tactical decision to make 6 changes is naive, man. Like to do it at this level, thinking that your team is good enough that you can make 6 changes and go away on a European night, away like that in the Champions League and just grab a win. Like it's just it's naivety from the side of Arsenal's management.
Another thing, it just seemed like I can understand if you were to make those changes, say in the middle of like the Christmas period, where obviously you're getting games thick and
Thick and
fast,
fast.
got injuries,
Yeah.
but we're still kind of at the beginning of the season. I know we are going to get a pile-up soon with the game against the old enemy next week in the cup.
But there's certain replacements that you're taking off. Certain people you're taking off and replacing them with, they're not the same par or caliber or even close. Like taking off Coquelin and putting Arteta in your team is a massive tactical decision because that position, central defensive midfield, guarding your back four on a European away night, cold nighttime, that is not a clever decision unless you've got adequate cover. You can't just take
Like,
Arteta.
look at the rest of the team. Like okay, so realistically, I'm looking at the team. So the main changes were obviously the goalie.
Monreal.
Who came in, which in theory with Arsenal you shouldn't really be conceding too many chances against Dynamo. So to me, that's you can afford to do that. Okay, I think Debussy deserves a run out. So
I agree.
Like him.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking at it. We should really have had enough to beat them.
Definitely.
Definitely. So I can't-
We talk about changes, but the team that was out there should be beating Dinamo Zagreb. Like 100%. 100%. So like I can't even really get at Arsenal for that because that team was good enough to go out there and win, especially with the game against Chelsea on the weekend and the game against Spurs next week.
Mhm.
So-
No,
so-
definitely, I agree.
And you should be.
Good enough, but just in hindsight, I don't know. Maybe not so many changes were needed. It sounds like I'm sitting on the fence now because I've just said there one moment should be winning with the changes, but then maybe so many changes shouldn't have been made. But I don't know. With the changes, yeah, we should have beat them. But then at the same
Right,
time,
Ian Wright made a good point. He said, if you're going to do changes like that, yeah, and you've got a big game coming up on the weekend, you should start with your strongest team, get the lead, then take your big names off, take who you want to rest off after you have the lead. Like, don't do it the long way round, and like try and get the win with players who haven't started in 5 months. Like, what's going on there? Some of the players that I don't even want to get into individual performances, but I just feel like you're already struggling in the Premiership with this current starting lineup, and now you want to make a significant amount of changes in an away game against Zagreb, who are on a 42 game unbeaten run. It's cocky, man. That's arrogance. It's arrogance because your team are not proven to be at a level where they can just do that, where they can just turn up and win. Arsenal don't look like they're capable of turning up and just winning like at the moment. They don't look like they have that momentum right now. Where I can go, I have a good feeling that Arsenal want to turn up and win tonight. I can't say that right now.
Miles, did you want to add anything?
Well, I think we've touched up on the overall performance. I think going forwards, obviously it's a big game at the weekend. Obviously I saw the results. I can see Chelsea picked up an easy win tonight. And
I think the timing of both. I think the timing of that is so bad. Like, I think confidence would have flown back into Chelsea tonight, and they don't have to go anywhere. They got another home game on the weekend against us. We got to fly back to the UK, and we got another away game. Granted, we don't have to go so far, but the timing of that is just so bad because it's just a bit frustrating.
It could be a complete flip-flop now in terms of confidence.
Definitely.
I think we're going to be in for a tough game. So I think we get the result. I think we can, if we go there and keep it solid at the back. I think at the moment, Gary Neville was touching up there at the weekend that Chelsea seem to not be defending as well as a team. So I think we do have enough players up top that can get at them. I think we definitely need to start Walcott up front. I don't want to see Giroud starting up front. I think Walcott's pace will give Chelsea a big problem. As I said, I know potentially might be close in terms of coming back. Hope he just sticks with the defence, brings Bellerin back in, brings Monreal back in, who's been one of our most consistent players over the past 12 months. And I think you have to hope for a win. I'd take a draw if you offered me it. I know some Arsenal fans would say that's been a bit pessimistic, but I just think I've seen it over the years where Arsenal go to one of these big sides, that big side is in a bad run of form, and we seem to get turned over. So I probably would take the draw if you offered me it now.
Didn't we get a draw with them last season?
No, we lost.
What, both fixtures?
No, we drew at home, but they didn't come to play at home. But
we lost early on. That was early, innit?
Yeah, it was Costa.
Yeah.
Perry, would you take the draw?
Yeah, I'll take a draw, man. I mean,
you know, I think
Chelsea always turn their A game on against Arsenal. So even if they're in bad form, it doesn't really matter, man. It's irrelevant. It's really irrelevant, especially when you've got Mourinho there with that record against Arsenal in Premier League games. It doesn't matter what their form is like.
It's one of those games where form goes out the window.
Their form is not relevant in a Chelsea-Arsenal fixture at all. Like, that's Mourinho. He knows how Wenger's going to come. He knows how he's going to set up, and he's going to adjust his tactics to suit Wenger's predictability in this fixture. But I think we can get a draw. I think we can get a draw. But I don't see Chelsea firing on all cylinders, man. I think a draw is definitely realistic. I think that should be the aim. Obviously, Arsenal are going to go for a win, but I think a draw is definitely due.
Okay, well, it's been a bad night for Arsenal, but we move on. Chelsea on the weekend. Hopefully, we can get 3 points.